Good morning to you. I am Ann Ferguson, and today we are talking about how to believe in you. So we're going to talk about all things about where belief comes from, how beliefs develop, how they get rooted down into your system, and what do we need to do to change them? Because it's actually not as hard as you might think. It's not as traumatic. It's not as, some things are, but a lot of things aren't. A lot of things just go, that didn't serve me. I want to feel something else. So welcome to Leaning In with Ann. I'm Ann Ferguson, and I am an author. I am soon to be podcaster. That's fun. I am a mom. I'm a friend. I am a personal mentor. I'm a creator. And honestly, I'm just a girl trying to do what God wants me to do. I kick and scream and I fight all the time. People who are close to me and know me, they laugh at it because when I say God told me and I said no, they know it's coming because I'm always resistant to something that He told me. We have an interesting relationship. I believe. This is one of my core beliefs. We're going to talk about belief a lot. One of my core beliefs is I believe that I can have a relationship with Him, and I believe He likes me. Not because of anything I did or don't do, but because He created me and He just likes me. I have a relationship with Him. It's like a daddy-daughter thing. I did have a session with someone where we talked about God. It was really interesting because it was all tangled up with my dad. And one thing I want to put out there right now is when we talk about belief and belief in you, a core principle about this is in the 10 Commandments. There is one that I don't think we understand and apply on a regular basis. This one is, put no other gods before me. So, when I believe in someone else's perception in me, and it drives everything that I do because I believe what they say, are they my God? What if they're not? What if their own junk is getting in the way about their belief about me? So there's something called the law of relativity that helps us in creation and creating our life and creating our world. It all boils down, everything boils down to what do you believe? I'm not talking about religious belief, faith, and all of that kind of stuff. Of course, I believe in God, but there's something else here, and that is, what do you believe that other people are saying? So let's talk about where do beliefs come from. First off, beliefs come from your parents. They have a belief system, and they teach you the belief system. Now, that can vary from God and how to pray to, I have a belief that children can kind of be creative and explore, and then we have a time where we clean up. Or I can have a belief system that you clean up one thing before you get something else out. Not wrong, just different, right? But what that does is, if that is your belief that you put something away and then you get something else out, when other people don't put things away, your belief will generate emotions. And emotions will generate how you show up for somebody. Now, if your belief is not wrong, just different, we all get along a little bit better. That's one of my favorite beliefs. But what if the belief is you can't do this? What if the belief is you're just vain? What if the belief is everybody's going to find out you're an imposter? What if the belief is, well, I've made my bed, so I just need to lie in it. I screwed up so many times that this is just what life is. What if your belief is everybody else gets blessed but me? What if your belief is everything always works out for me somehow? What if your belief is, I don't know how, but I'm going to figure it out? What if your belief is that person ahead of me, man, they can help me achieve. Instead of the belief that that person ahead of me reflects all of my weaknesses and the reasons why I can't. Do you see what I'm talking about belief? Like, it's everything. Everything comes down to what you believe. So where do those come from? Well, like I said, they come from parents. Ooh, ready? Worst place ever. Siblings. You ever have a sibling tell you something about you, like when you're a kid, and then you believe it? So my brother, I used to eat Trick cereal with a lot of sugar. And then I'd get bacon in the microwave, and I put syrup all over my bacon, and that was my breakfast. And one morning I was sitting at the kitchen table, and my older brother came out, saw my breakfast, and goes, "Ann, what the heck are you doing?" I go, "What?" He goes, "What are you eating?" I go, "My breakfast. That's what I have every day." And so he instills this thing. Oh my gosh, okay, this is not politically correct. We're talking about 1980s, okay? Work with me here. If you keep eating that, you're going to be fat by the time you're 16. I don't know, I might have been 12 or 13. And I'm like, no, I won't. Okay, if I had adopted that thought, would have been a little bit different. You know why I didn't? Because I was in the dance studio all the time. I could dance off any sugar I had, and I knew it, and I believed it. There are things that siblings say that are not kind, and we do grab. So what I want you to know is that a belief comes from a thought that you grab onto and you make it true. So here's another one. Remember the ballet thing? So my sister was really, really good at sports, and I was really good in the dance studio. And we both tried to cross the lines. You know, she tried to do dance, and there was like, I don't know, a church group that we would play basketball and baseball and volleyball, and so I got my hand at the sports, you know. And when I'd go to do a layup, I'd run, and it was so pretty. It was so pretty. It's very balletic. And I heard from my sister, "Oh my gosh, you throw like a girl." And I remember going, I am one, but there's something wrong with that. And so I have a belief. I don't play sports. Guess what? I still don't. And every time there's like some kind of sports thing, I freak out and I find a reason not to play. Like even kickball. Like, nope. Okay, what about, art. What about your talents and your gifts? If anybody said when you're young, "Oh my gosh, you are so good at this. I can't believe you did that." Then you go, "I am good at this." Belief comes from other people. And if somebody said, "I don't know what that is. What were you trying to draw?" Like me, it was point shoes, by the way. And they said it looked like an elephant or something. I don't remember, but it was not what I had tried. And so the belief instilled, I am no good at art. Guess what? Your beliefs generate emotions. Emotion of art, inadequacy, to this day. It also generates actions. Guess what I did not do? I did not check the box on any of my school, what would you love on your schedule, electives for art. Because that happened when I was like 6th grade maybe. So I never took art. So now the belief, I'm not good at art. Of course I'm not. I never actually tried. Interesting, right? Okay. So we're going to apply what's called the law of relativity into belief. Everything is relative. Everything you do, your space and time and where you are right now, even if you quote unquote screwed up a whole bunch, is exactly where you're supposed to be. And there is room for growth. There's always, always, always room for growth. So what do you have going on right now as you look forward into the future and you kind of start to dream and you kind of go, "Ooh, I would love that." What belief shows up? Is it, "I can't, it's not going to happen, I'm too weak"? Or is it, "I can't wait to see how this goes"? There is always going to be someone who is ahead of you in any endeavor. There's always going to be somebody who knows more, who is more talented, is more gifted, is more knowledgeable. There's always going to be someone who has paved the way. And guess what? It's appropriate and it's God-given. Always. Why? Because if you didn't know, because you didn't see, then it's not even possible because it's not in your mind as a possibility. But because of possibility, innovation can happen. Do you know how many podcasts people listen to? I have been studying podcasts lately. Do you know how many podcasts people listen to? Oh, so many. And I went and was searching names and stuff of podcasts today, just kind of doing some research. And I was like, holy cow, how did anybody even think of this? And I went, oh, it's because radios don't exist anymore. People listened to quote unquote podcasts. Oh, they were radio programs. And they even had sounds like there's a story being told and you could hear the walking of the footsteps. And they've got somebody in the studio that's producing those. I just got this really cool soundboard thing that has sounds. I can push a button and like an audience claps. But it's the same thing. It's just radio. It's just radio in our modern day. So somebody went, hey, people used to like that. And I wonder if we could do this now. How many podcasts do you listen to? Somebody innovated that because somebody had already done it. How cool is that? I think that's super cool. Now, there is also always going to be someone who is behind you. Someone who is looking up to you, is looking towards you, and you are the vision of where they want to be. Now, most of us go, well, that's not possible because I'm not even cool. It's true. You're not as cool as the person ahead of you, but you're way cooler than the person behind you. And that doesn't mean you're prideful. That just is what is. There are things that I know that you don't. There are things that I know that you want to know. And so I love reaching back and sharing, this is what I know. You know what else I love to do? Reach forward and say, hey, teach me what you know. That is the absolute sweet spot of humility, and it takes away imposter syndrome. So the way to get rid of your negative beliefs, first, identify them. You don't have to go really, really, really deep. Just as they come up, you go, is that the absolute truth? I sat in a lot of self-doubt last night as I looked at all of the equipment that I've got to start this podcast. And I went, that is so ahead of my pay grade. Like, oh, the learning curve to know how to do all of this. I'm like, I'm too old for this. Like, all this is going to be wasted. That was my thoughts last night. And I heard them, but I didn't grab them and turn them into belief. I went, that's interesting that I'm sitting in doubt. I'm sitting in fear. One of the biggest things about this and how to do it is nothing that you feel is right or wrong. No emotion. So the fact that last night I was feeling pretty daunted by what was ahead of me to actually produce this thing and get it out there, even with all the help that I'm getting, it still comes down to I got to record and I got to know how to work the equipment. Whew. All of that inadequacy, I looked at it and went, hey, inadequacy, I see you. Now we're going to challenge you. Is it the absolute truth that you are inadequate? The answer to that is yes. Yes, I'm inadequate right now. Okay? The belief that thought is trying to put out is, so don't even try. You're going to fail. If I adopt the belief of I'm going to fail, my emotions are going to intensify with guilt that I've wasted money and time and people's good intention, fear of failure and letting everybody down and disappointment, if that's the belief that I grab. So I just sat with inadequacy. I went, totally inadequate. What would I love? This is why this matters. Because when you create with love, all sorts of answers come. Would I love to have somebody else be very proficient at that so I don't even have to worry about it? Would I love to become proficient at this sound mixing and dropping the... It's not about the talking. I got that down, you guys. It's about the production side, you know? Would I love to do that myself so that I feel competent? Yep, that's the emotion. Do I want to feel competent in my ability to do that? And then I can still pass it on, or I can do it myself. How do I feel about that? Now I'm going to grab a belief. I have the ability to learn anything I need to learn. I know that. I might not do it like somebody else, and it may take me a lot longer, and it may take me faster than someone else, right? Relativity is in play. There are some people who already know. There are some people that can learn quicker. There's people just like me who are learning. There's people behind me that are slower, that don't even know yet. So cool. I choose to believe. What you believe, you receive. What I am choosing to believe is that I absolutely can learn how to produce, because that's actually what I want to do. Then I can turn it over. But if something ever happens where somebody can't produce, I've got the ability to, right? So I would love to learn that new skill. I believe that God is leading this effort. I believe that everything I need is always being drawn to me. And therefore, ta-da! Imposter syndrome gone. Well, that's very different than last night, right? What imposter thing do you have going on right now? What is, I'm kind of embarrassed, I don't want to tell anybody because then I'm going to if I fail, then it'll be, and I told you so. If I don't fail, then nobody knows. Is there anything you feel like you're pretending at? Okay, so this is a really bad one. This one totally came true. I became a certified QuickBooks Pro advisor. So I could do QuickBooks. And I tested well. I didn't understand all the principles, but I believed that I could learn. And I went to a temp service who hired me to go to an accounting firm. And I just answered phones, and it was fantastic. But they saw that I was QuickBooks Pro advisor. And so they asked me, would you like to join this? And I said, I'm not sure that I know all the things. They go, no, it's okay. It's going to be easy. I went, okay. I got in there, and I remember the first day, the guy said, welcome, so glad you're here. How do you feel? And I said, I feel like I'm in over my head. Guys, that belief that I was in over my head completely drove my feelings about that position, about how I showed up, about my work ethic, about everything. I was in over my head. I didn't like being there. And there were people that responded to me not liking being there, and they didn't like me either. It was out in North Carolina, and there was I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You might know them as the Mormons. And there was a woman who really, really hated Mormons. And in the end, she was my mentor, although she really hated me. But she had access to my stuff, and she would go in and change the numbers on the accounts after I'd gone home, because she had access to all my stuff. And I was fired. I was in over my head. I did not believe that I could. I believed in a lot of lack. I had lack of time, lack of energy, lack of knowledge, lack of money. And so all the things that I believed just kept being there. So how do you believe in you? You got to listen to what your parents said about you and challenge it. Is that true? I'm a bad daughter, by the way, by one parent. And I was a great daughter from the other. So which one do I want to believe? There is opposition in all of this. In every belief, there is an opposite belief that you can choose if you want to. Now, there are some beliefs that you go, yeah, but I don't even know how to get to that belief. Well, there's a really simple story in the scriptures. Help thou my unbelief. That is not about whether or not God is able to help you. It is not even most times whether or not he's willing to bless you. It's more whether or not you are willing to let him. So I'm going to say that again. Help thou my unbelief is not about whether or not God can. And most times it's not even about whether he will. It's about whether you will let him. Because there's another belief behind that, that God doesn't love me, I've done things, I'm not worthy, I'm not important. And all of that may be beliefs because of how one parent treated you over another, or how one sibling got more things than you did, or you got to go into that belief and go, where is that actually coming from? Because if you believe that God desires to shower blessings upon you and you're holding an umbrella, because that was spoken at the pulpit, right? Dieter Uchtdorf, one of the best talks ever. How many blessings are you withholding because you don't believe you deserve them, and you say that you don't believe that God will give them? How to believe in you? Okay, you ready? You gotta believe that you matter. What you feel matters. Don't make yourself wrong for any emotion. What you think matters, even if the idea is going to fail, they matter because they're coming from within you. That you matter to God. He wants your success. That you matter to this world. Yeah, but the world beats me down. Belief. Opposition in all things. All things. So, I would love for you to claim your belief today. Anything that you would love to believe about you and about what you're trying to accomplish right now. I'm going to ask that you join me because I'm challenging a lot of beliefs right now. There is a belief that a sibling put out there that I'm full of BS crap and I'm just trying to gather disciples. That's kind of awkward, right? That is not true. And I'm going to challenge that belief and say, no, I actually just really love people. I've been through a lot of crazy crap, and I love to share what I've learned, and I only do it with God. You know, if you believe that, you might listen to me. It's kind of fun. I already talked about the belief of inadequacy, of being able to learn all the stuff. I'm just going to challenge that belief. So, what belief are you challenging today? Let's rally some belief today. The first step of that is to tell yourself, I have permission to believe this. See, I have permission to believe that I can learn this equipment. Then I'm going to go into, I choose to learn the equipment. I enjoy it. And then I am proficient. So I'm going to say that again. As you're creating your beliefs, there are 4 levels. The I am statement sometimes is just too much at the first. It's gonna trigger all sorts of doubt and inadequacy and imposter syndrome. So let's get rid of that and just say, step 1, I have permission. Whatever your belief is. Next step, I choose. There's opposition in all things. You can choose whatever you would love to believe. Third step, I enjoy this. And fourth step, I am. So sometimes that takes about a couple months to move from level to level. Sometimes it's in a week, sometimes it's in a day. But that is how you believe in yourself. Find the belief and start with permission. Know that there is opposition in all things, every belief. There is an opposite. You suck and you're great. And that you get to choose what that is, and that God desires above all things for you to be joyful and happy in all things. I have a belief that I'm going to end with. This is the belief. I do not believe that the tests in life are to prove that we can endure it all. I believe that the only test is, how long do you want it to endure the crap? What if that's the test? What if it's like, oh, wait, what? Like it can be easy? Yeah, we're going to challenge that belief. We're going to go into that belief another time. It can be easy. And you are still valiant and faithful and powerful. So I'm going to find the easiest way possible to learn this equipment. I'm not going to try the hardest way. And I'm going to read a book today because I decided to create my day. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to walk some more. All right, thanks. We'll see you.